Hey, I'm Dave Klein, and you are listening to Foreskin, Gamers Uncut. And sitting to my left...
Hey there, it's Joe Baker.
And John, the fascist quick.
So fascist. We're bringing this podcast back to you. It used to be on Game Zombie TV, but now it is part of Game Sauce. So you can catch us every week on Game Sauce, download the podcast, listen to a preview on YouTube, and whatever else you like. You can download it, you can listen to while you're pooping. That's what I'll probably be doing. But, on to the topics.
I'm so glad you shared that with us.
Look, I'm a douche,
Good
and
sauce.
I just say what I got, okay? So, first topic of the night is we're going to talk about Sony. Sony's doing something a little interesting, where they have decided, with the newest update, that in order to use PSN, you have to agree to a new terms of services. Within this new terms of service, you are basically agreeing that you are not allowed to sue Sony in any way. You can't do a class action lawsuit against them. You cannot sue them. You can't sue them, period. So, what do you guys think about this?
Can they still sue us?
Yes.
Oddly enough, that's spelled out very clearly in there.
I'm sure it is. I mean, I read through it a little bit. I think the only thing that you're basically signing is you cannot sue us, the entity, Sony, for any purpose. And I'm pretty sure it's only for their online services. That's what it indicates as far as their online services goes. I'm fairly positive, which is a good thing, because otherwise you'd be saying that if you buy a Sony TV and you try to sue them because it doesn't work, or, I mean, I don't know why you sue them for not working. Hopefully you get it back. But for anything, it's not like they could do anything to you, but it's still for their online services.
So specifically for the PlayStation Network?
Well, I mean, it says online services. So I think PlayStation Network is part of their online services, but I think it's indicating any online service.
Including like Sony, possibly Sony Online Entertainment and any like the DC Universe Online.
Yeah, I'm sure that would probably be an entity of it.
Yeah, well, this is kind of like an interesting thing, because it's like coming right off the heels of the massive PSN debacle, where, you know, of course, anybody who's in the game world...
Yeah, it was down for how many?
It was down for like 3 weeks, up to a month.
Yeah, it was a long time.
And then, you
now,
know...
does that count the 2 weeks they didn't tell anybody?
And then, like, Sony, like, apparently there was rumors of people's credit and personal information getting leaked. I don't know if those rumors are actually substantiated, but, you know, it was, like, you know, Sony, it's almost like they just... It's just indicative of everything Sony has kind of currently done in this generation, where it's like with the PS1 and the PS2, they were like on top of the dog pile and just having a good time. So by the time the PS3 rolled around, they were just like, we ain't gotta do shit. It's like, we're number one and we're gonna kick ass, and they're gonna proceed to, you know, eat it, no matter what the hell we serve them.
And whenever you listen to a Sony press conference or read interviews, whatever you did, their head, the guy who would come and talk to people, would always sound like a cocky dick. Every single time. He was like, well, you know, Xbox and GameCube, they're alright, but PS2's number one, and it'll remain number one. And I hated him. I hated him so much, because he came off as such a cocky dick.
Watch what you say, because they can still sue.
True.
The door swings one way now.
Well, and I don't think, not only that, hasn't EA also done this?
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, so EA did this actually a little bit before Sony. So EA did this a couple weeks ago. Sony just did it this week. And people didn't even realize that EA did it. People are just starting to realize, like, wait, EA just did this too. So it's like, people are just starting to do this. And don't get me wrong, I think that, you know, there's definitely an overuse of suing people in America for stupid reasons. But it's still our right. Like, that's the point. That's something that we should be able to do. And hopefully people don't abuse that, but we should be able to do it at least. It's a freedom that we have.
And besides, companies like Sony or EA, they must have so much money and such a large team of lawyers that... Why put up the defense with just sort of a blanket statement of, no, you can't sue us for anything?
Well, it's like I'm not quite sure where this I mean, I'm not quite sure where this is really coming from. I mean, if it's coming from the PSN debacle, if that was the lesson that the gaming industry is taking away from that, it's not that, oh, we need to have better, not that we need to have better security, we need to actually, watch our stuff, we need to actually put effort into this, as opposed to, what it says is that the gaming industry is saying that as opposed to putting in effort, we're just going to cover our asses and continue just to sit pretty.
I mean, I think for me, there's a couple things that sort of hits on. I think, that's annoying, but at the same time, it's kind of was funny to me watching the response that people took when PSN did get hacked, where people, instead of hating on the people who hacked Sony, they were pissed off at Sony. And don't get me wrong, it sucks that Sony got hacked, and yeah, maybe their security should have been better, but you should be pissed off at the people who hacked them. And everyone seemed pissed at Sony. Like, Sony, this is your fault that you got hacked. It's not the hacker's fault. God forbid it's their fault. It's Sony's fault that they got hacked. And it's something where it's just like, to me, I almost think of this as like an F you to hackers. Like, fuck you, hackers. This is what you guys get for what you did. Everyone took the side of the hackers, so fuck you guys. We're just gonna make it so we don't care if you guys all took the hacker side. And not that that's right. But in a way, that's almost how I can look at it, like...
Well, it's like if a bank gets robbed. If a bank gets robbed, yeah, you get mad at the people that actually took the money out of the bank, the robbers. But you can't blame them specifically, because generally people don't know who they are. So they blame the bank for not having good enough security.
Right. And the thing about hackers that I feel like a lot of people don't realize, hackers have no lives. At least the really good hackers. The really good hackers, that's just what they do. And, like, you can hire a lot of people to up your security on the internet. And up it and up it and up it. And it is never... If you get a really determined, dedicated hacker, they can hack into it.
Actually, that's probably the best game that hacker ever played on the PSN. Hacking into the security system.
How to bend Sony over and give them one?
Now, I'm not at all condoning what Sony is doing in any way, so don't get me wrong in that sense.
Well,
it's just more of like, I guess I really wanted to vent against the fact that no one seemed to blame the hacker, when to me that was the real issue.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess back to this, people, again, I mean, it's just me reading comments and message boards and all that. I don't get it. What are you people thinking?
Well,
honestly. Because, like, here's the thing with the Sony thing now. People are taking Sony's side with this. They're like, oh, and EA's side. Like, oh, of course they're doing this. Like, people are over-suing people. Everybody in America sues people way too much, so this is a good thing. This isn't a good thing. They're taking away your freedom and your rights. You have the right to sue them, and they are taking that away. You should be allowed to have a class action lawsuit against them if something's not working right. But I guess we'll move on, though, to other things, because I am so riled up right now that it's better to move on to 3DS and the 3D in games. There's a study that was just done, or I should say more of a poll, not really a study, but a poll that was taken, where apparently people are not satisfied with the 3D and their 3DS. The numbers are rising for how dissatisfied consumers are with the 3D and the 3DS, to the point of like, hey, some people don't even know it exists, which I'm assuming is just a casual consumer who bought the 3DS, like, oh, it's a new DS, I'll buy it for my daughter or whatever. But it's just general dissatisfaction with the 3D is rising. So I have a 3DS, and I can understand why that is. What do you guys think?